All right, real talk for a second. If you're here, you're probably at your breaking point with Skibidi Toilet. Your kid's glued to their tablet, watching those weird toilet head things fight camera people, and you're wondering what the heck happened to normal children's programming. I get it. I was there 3 months ago. Look, I'm not here to mom shame or dad shame anybody. We're all just trying to survive parenthood in 2025. But after watching my own kid go from a normal, curious 7-year-old to someone who could only speak in skibidi references and flush sounds, I knew something had to change. The tantrums got worse. The attention span disappeared. Bedtime became a nightmare because his brain was so overstimulated he literally couldn't calm down. So I did what any desperate parent does. I went down a rabbit hole of research, talked to other parents, consulted with my kid's teacher, and tested different shows for 3 solid months. And here's what I found. You can't just cold turkey your kid off Skibidi Toilet. That's like taking away someone's coffee and expecting them to be chill about it. You need alternatives that match that same energy level, but actually give them something of value. Today, I'm breaking down the exact shows that worked for my family, organized by age group. These aren't boring educational shows your kids will reject. These are actual replacements that kept my son engaged while slowly bringing his brain back to normal. Let's dive in. First up, if you've got preschoolers ages 3 to 5 who somehow discovered Skibidi Toilet, and honestly, I don't even know how that happens at that age, but here we are. You need Bluey and Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those are baby shows. My kid's too cool for that. Wrong. Bluey is legitimately one of the best written kids shows ever made, and I will die on that hill. It's Australian, which means it's got this charm that American shows just don't have. The episodes are 7 minutes long, perfect for those tiny attention spans that got destroyed by rapid-fire skibidi content. Here's why Bluey works. It's fast-paced enough to keep them watching, but it's teaching emotional intelligence. Like, there's an episode where Bluey learns about patience by waiting for her dad to finish work. Another one where she deals with disappointment. This stuff matters. Your kid won't realize they're learning. They'll just think it's fun. Plus, the animation is gorgeous. Bright colors, smooth movement, none of that janky, low-budget stuff. You can find Bluey on Disney+. If you don't have Disney+, honestly, it's worth the subscription just for this show. I'm not sponsored by Disney. I'm just a parent who found something that actually worked. Now, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is your backup option. It's on PBS Kids, which means it's free if you've got basic cable, or you can stream it. Daniel Tiger is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for the modern age. Same gentle approach, but updated with better animation and catchy songs. Your kid will start singing, "When you feel so mad that you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4. And you know what? That song actually helps them regulate their emotions. The magic formula here, show your kid both shows. Don't make it a big deal. Just put on an episode while they're eating a snack. Don't say we're replacing Skibidi Toilet. Just make these shows available. Kids are naturally drawn to quality content if you give them the chance to discover it. My 4-year-old niece went from screaming Skibidi at the dinner table to asking for one more Bluey before bed. Took exactly 1 week. 1 week. That's 7 days of your sanity being restored. Okay, so your kid's in early elementary school, 1st through 3rd grade. They're old enough to have opinions, young enough to still listen to you sometimes. This age group is tricky because they think they're too grown for baby shows, but they're not ready for teen content. They're in that sweet spot where they crave action and excitement, which is exactly why Skibidi Toilet hooked them in the first place. Your power moves here. Wild Kratts and Octonauts, both on Netflix, both absolute game changers. Wild Kratts is about these 2 brothers who travel around the world learning about animals and activating creature powers. It's like if the Magic School Bus met superhero shows. The pacing is fast. There's always something happening. Chases, transformations, problem solving. Your kid won't get bored. But here's the kicker. They're learning actual zoology. My 7-year-old son now knows the difference between African and Asian elephants, can explain how a peregrine falcon hunts, and asked me to take him to the zoo so he could see a real Komodo dragon. Like, where was this level of curiosity when Skibidi Toilet was rotting his brain? Nowhere. He was just consuming mindless content. The episodes are around 25 minutes, which is perfect. Not too long, not too short. And there are like 9 seasons, so you've got content for months. The show doesn't talk down to kids either. It uses real scientific terms. Your kid will start dropping words like camouflage and adaptation in regular conversation, and you'll be standing there like, "Who are you? And what did you do with my child?" Octonauts is the backup plan, especially if your kid likes ocean stuff. It's about this team of animals who explore the ocean and help creatures in trouble. British production, so the animation quality is top-notch. Each episode introduces a real sea animal, everything from blobfish to colossal squid. It's educational, but never boring. The characters are fun, there's action in every episode, and the missions keep them engaged. Pro tip: watch the first episode of each show with your kid. Point out the cool parts. Whoa, did you see how that cheetah ran? That's faster than a car on the highway. Get them excited about the learning aspect without being preachy. Kids can smell a sermon from a mile away. Just be genuinely interested and they'll follow your lead. Give it 3 days, 3 days of consistent viewing. Don't let them switch back to Skibidi during this trial period. Hide the YouTube app if you have to. I'm serious. After 3 days, most kids naturally gravitate toward the new content because their brains start craving substance again. Now we're getting into the danger zone. Kids who are almost teenagers, but not quite. 4th, 5th, 6th graders. They're too cool for kid stuff, but still young enough that you can guide their media consumption without a full-blown rebellion. This is the age where Skibidi Toilet does the most damage, because these kids know it's kind of stupid, but they watch it anyway because it's the cultural currency at school. Everyone's talking about it, so they need to be in on the joke. Your secret weapons. Avatar, The Last Airbender and Gravity Falls, both on streaming, both absolute masterpieces. Avatar, The Last Airbender is on Netflix, and it's the show I wish existed when I was a kid. It's got everything: martial arts, fantasy elements, actual character development, meaningful lessons about war and peace and friendship. But it never feels like a lesson. It feels like an epic adventure. The main character, Aang, is this 12-year-old kid who has to save the world. Every episode builds on the last. There's an overarching story that spans 3 seasons. Kids who need stimulation will absolutely stay hooked because they have to know what happens next. Here's what makes it brilliant. It teaches storytelling structure. Your kid will start noticing things like plot arcs, character growth, foreshadowing. They might not use those words, but they'll understand the concepts. And when they go back to school and write a story for English class, suddenly they're writing with actual structure instead of just random events happening. My 10-year-old daughter binged the entire series in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. She was obsessed, but it was a good obsession. She was invested in the characters. She cried during emotional scenes. She talked about the themes. This is what media consumption should look like. Active engagement, not passive brain rot. Gravity Falls is on Disney+, and it's perfect for kids who like mystery and humor. It's about these twins who spend the summer with their great uncle in this weird town where supernatural stuff keeps happening. Every episode has clues and puzzles. Kids love trying to solve the mystery before the characters do. It's funny, but not dumb funny. It's clever funny. Jokes that work on multiple levels. The show rewards attention. If your kid zones out, they miss important details, so it naturally trains them to focus again. After months of Skibidi's random chaos where nothing matters and there's no continuity, Gravity Falls brings back the idea that paying attention actually enhances the experience. Both shows are 2 seasons, so they're not an endless commitment. Your kid can finish them, feel accomplished, and then you've got a natural transition point to try something new. The strategy: start with Avatar, because it's more universally appealing. Episode 1 is called The Boy in the Iceberg. It hooks you in immediately. Watch it with your kid if you can. Make it a thing. Hey, I heard this show is really good. Want to check it out together? Don't position it as replacement content for Skibidi. Position it as something cool you want to experience together. After Avatar, transition to Gravity Falls. By this point, your kid's brain has been retrained to expect quality. They'll naturally start rejecting the low-effort content because they've remembered what good storytelling feels like. All right, teenagers and tweens. 12 and up. This is the hardest age group because they're old enough to have their own devices, their own accounts, their own autonomy. You can't just control the remote anymore. They're watching stuff on their phones at midnight, so your approach has to be different. You need shows that are legitimately cool, shows they'd actually choose to watch, shows their friends haven't seen yet, so they can be the one who introduces their squad to something new. Enter Mythbusters Junior and Brain Games. Mythbusters Junior is on Discovery Plus, but you can find episodes on other platforms too. It's the junior version of the classic Mythbusters show. Kids and teenagers testing myths using actual science. They blow stuff up, they crash cars, they build crazy contraptions. It's got all the spectacle and excitement, but it's rooted in real scientific method. They form hypotheses, design experiments, analyze results. Your teenager watches this and suddenly they're interested in physics. They're asking questions like, I wonder if we could test that at home. They're thinking critically about claims they see online. This is huge. In a world where misinformation spreads like wildfire, having a kid who instinctively asks, but how do we know that's true, is invaluable. The episodes are fast-paced, no boring lectures, just action, experiments, results. The hosts are diverse, relatable kids and teens, not adults talking down to them. That matters at this age. Your teen needs to see people like them doing cool stuff. Brain Games is your other option. It's on Disney Plus, and it's all about neuroscience and psychology through fun experiments and illusions. It's hosted by different celebrities each episode, which keeps it fresh. Your teen learns about how their own brain works, why they make certain decisions, how optical illusions trick their perception. It's the kind of stuff that makes them feel smart without being condescending. Here's your play. Don't position these as educational shows. Position them as shows that'll blow your mind. Teenagers hate feeling like they're being taught, but they love feeling like they're discovering secret knowledge. Hey, I was watching this thing about how the brain gets tricked by optical illusions. It's actually kind of crazy. Want to check it out? Watch an episode during family time. React to it. No way, that's insane. Get them curious. Then leave it available on their profile. Don't force it, just plant the seed. The beautiful thing about this age, once their brain gets that dopamine hit from actually learning something cool, they start seeking it out. They realize that understanding how things work is more satisfying than mindless consumption. Not immediately. This takes time, but it happens. My 14-year-old nephew went from watching Skibidi Toilet compilations and TikTok brain rot for hours to binging Mythbusters Junior, and then starting his own YouTube channel where he tests stuff. He's learning video editing, science, critical thinking, all because we gave him content that channeled his energy in a positive direction. Okay, let's talk about why this approach actually works when so many others fail. The key is matching Skibidi's pace while adding substance. You cannot go from chaos to slow documentaries. Your kid's brain has been trained to expect rapid-fire stimulation. If you suddenly put on a nature documentary with long, slow shots of animals grazing, they're going to reject it immediately. Their brain is literally wired for faster input now. That's not their fault. That's how neural pathways work. You've got to meet them where they are and gradually guide them back to normal. These shows I recommended, they all have quick pacing. Scene changes happen frequently. There's always action or dialogue or something visually interesting happening. But unlike Skibidi Toilet, which is just random chaos with no meaning, these shows have structure. They have beginnings, middles, and ends. They have stakes. They have lessons embedded in the entertainment. Your kid's brain starts relearning how to follow a narrative, how to care about characters, how to anticipate what might happen next based on patterns and foreshadowing. These are crucial cognitive skills that Skibidi Toilet actively destroys. Another reason this works: you're not taking something away without replacing it. Human nature, especially kid nature, rebels against loss. If you just delete Skibidi Toilet and don't offer an alternative, your kid will find something equally bad or worse. YouTube's algorithm will gladly serve them the next brain rot trend. But if you provide equal or better content, they'll naturally migrate. It's like nutrition. You can't just take away junk food. You've got to introduce healthy food that actually tastes good. Nobody's going to choose steamed broccoli over pizza, but they might choose a really good homemade burger over fast food if it's actually better. These shows are the homemade burger. They're high-quality content that respects your kids' intelligence while keeping them entertained. Finally, this approach works because it's collaborative, not authoritarian. You're not saying Skibidi Toilet is banned because I said so. You're saying, hey, I found this cool thing, want to check it out. Kids are way more receptive to suggestions than demands, especially as they get older. Let's get tactical. Here's exactly what you need to do, step by step. Step 1. Identify your kid's age group from the sections above. Pick one show from that category. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to introduce multiple shows at once. One show, that's it. Step 2. Watch the first episode together. This is crucial. You need to be there for the initial exposure. Your presence signals that this is worthwhile content. Plus, you can gauge their reaction and pivot if needed. Step 3. Make the show easily accessible. Add it to their profile on whatever streaming service. Put it in the continue watching row so it's right there when they log in. Remove friction. Step 4, and this is the hard part. Remove or limit access to Skibidi Toilet content. On YouTube, you can block specific channels. On tablets, you can use parental controls to restrict certain content. Don't go nuclear and delete everything. Just make Skibidi harder to access than the new content. Instead of being 1 click away, make it 3 or 4 clicks away. Step 5. Give it 3 full days. This is your trial period. 3 days of consistent exposure to the new content without falling back to Skibidi. Mark it on your calendar. Days 1 and 2 will be tough. Day 3, you'll start seeing a shift. By day 5, they'll naturally choose the new content most of the time. Step 6. Watch for signs of improvement. Better attention span. More questions about what they're watching. Less irritability. These are indicators that their brain is recovering. Celebrate these wins, even if they seem small. Bonus step. If your kid resists after 3 days, don't give up. Try the backup show from their age category. Some kids vibe with certain shows more than others. That's normal. The goal isn't to force-feed them specific content. The goal is to find quality content they genuinely enjoy. Here's what I need from you. Comment your kid's age below, literally just the number. I will personally reply with the exact show I recommend starting with and why. If you've tried any of these shows and they worked or didn't work, let me know. I'm building a database of what works for different kids so we can help more families. Also, hit subscribe if you want more content about navigating parenting in the digital age without losing your mind. I post videos every week about screen time, content recommendations, and keeping your kids' brains intact while still letting them be kids. And look, if this video helped you, share it with another parent who's struggling with the same thing. We're all in this together. The Skibidi Toilet epidemic is real, but it's not unbeatable. We've got the tools, we've got the knowledge. Now we just need to take action. Your kids' brains are worth the effort. Let's do this.